Hey guys, so thanks to Brian over at Last Movie Standing, it's currently 10:30 o'clock on a 10:30 on a Sunday night, and we're gonna do a complete horror collection video, at least one part of it. So I spent a couple days ago watching Brian's video where he went over his entire horror movie collection, and I remember this was a thing I think years ago on YouTube, people going through and doing their complete collection, and I was like, okay, it's been a long time since I've really taken a deep dive. The shelves could use some dusting, so I imagine I could do this, and I was like, but nobody wants to see that. Go on Instagram, post a poll. Turns out a lot of people want to see it, so here we are. And this is the time that was just best for me to sit down and do this. But anyway, I'm going to be breaking this up into two parts. So part one is going to be this set of shelves behind me. Part two is going to be this set of shelves. This is more, what I'm going to be going through today is more of like my standard studio releases. There is some boutique labels mixed in. Scream Factory I mix in. I think some Synapse stuff. There's various labels that you'll see as we go through. Also as well, I do break my collection up between slipcover and not slipcover. I think it just looks better that way. So I do it. Yeah, it's just time to dive in, and just going to start. I'm going to try to edit this as little as possible and just kind of let this go. And I'm also going to try to have a few words to say about every title, why I have it in the collection and stuff. So yeah, it's just nothing left to say. Just gotta go. First up, Abigail. This is from Radio Silence. One of my favorite movies of the year so far. A ton of fun, overly violent. If you haven't checked this out yet, a ton of people are still coming around to this. I highly suggest giving it a look. It's an absolute blast. Those guys have created kind of a style of their own with Ready or Not. Even Scream 5, Scream 6 have had a great style that they've managed to put together. And I hope they keep making original stuff and not fall back into franchise. But we'll talk about that later. All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. This is from Viavision. Great movie from Jonathan Liebsman, who directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning and eventually went on to do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, one of those. And great release from Viavision. Good Amber Heard performance. I talked about this when I first posted about it on Instagram. A lot of exploitation reference here, so very modern exploitation. Even though the dialogue does not hold up well at all, I found myself kind of cringing multiple times. Not that it's cringe-worthy, but they talk like I feel like we all did in the early 2000s, and that just doesn't age very well. Alligator on 4K from Scream Factory. Great monster movie. Awesome alligator effects in here. Specifically, the miniature work when it's down in the sewer and the attack scene at the party. Fantastic. Great 4K from Scream Factory. Another deeply underrated title, Alone in the Dark. This is one that I had only known a couple of clips of, but you have Donald Pleasance in this, Martin Landau, Jack Palance as well. Good slasher movie. With a really good third act, good suspenseful third act in that I like a lot. Some pretty memorable kills in there. The Amusement Park from RLJE. This was a great, lost George Romero PSA about aging and the societal outlook and how we treat kind of aging people around us. It's only about 58 minutes long, but this was super, super great to finally see. I caught it on Shudder when it came out. Very happy it got a great release. So definitely worth a look. Absolutely worth a check out. I don't know when I bought it for the $14.99. I don't know when I would ever sit down and rewatch it, but very happy to kind of archive it in the collection and keep it alive and relevant on my shelves at least. Army of Darkness from Scream Factory. Fantastic release. Great 4K transfer. This is in the top 3 for me, which there's not that many Evil Dead movies, but love this movie. Bruce Campbell is great. I think Evil Dead 2013 is still my favorite Evil Dead, and then Evil Dead 2, but Army of Darkness comes up very, very quickly behind that. Autopsy of Jane Doe. This is the release from Raven Banner. This is a Blu-ray. I only bought this for the artwork. It sold me, guys. There was nothing else I could do. And at the time that I bought this, I'm pretty sure this standard US Blu-ray was like $7, and I paid like $25 for this. But if you haven't seen this artwork, that is your slip box. Look at that. It's grotesque. It's cool. Great movie. Great addition to the shelf, even with the artwork. The only thing that bothers me is that there's no title on the spine. But that's okay. Scream Team releasing Back Road. This is the X-rated director's cut. This is a true example of like Instagram algorithm target marketing working out. I had kind of almost bought this so many times. Finally was able to meet the team at Scream Team releasing in Monster Mania, and I bought this from the table, but have yet to watch it. So it's on the list. But if you put out a movie and you say X-rated director's cut, odds are I'm sold. You got me. You're speaking my lingo. The Barn 1 and 2. I see a bunch of people talking about these in their 31 Days of Halloween list. Super happy to hear people talking about it. They just announced the Indiegogo for the third one, so check these out. The Barn is a great little indie slasher. They had a lot more money for The Barn 2, but I think they used it in a good way. So both fantastic films, especially this time of year. Both great watches. Love the VHS slipcovers as well. Ari Aster, Beau is Afraid. I have yet to watch this. This movie is 179 minutes long, and every single time I think I have 179 minutes to watch a movie, I kind of just completely forget about this. So one day I'll give it a go. Becky, awesome Kevin James performance here. Lulu Wilson is also great. I wish we would get The Wrath of Becky on Blu-ray. I do have the DVD somewhere, but great little movie that I'm really happy got a sequel. Zooming in on it's focusing on the faces. But yeah, great little vicious movie. I just hate, can we stop hurting dogs in movies even if it does drive the plot forward? Please stop. Jeez. Big Trouble in Little China. Great John Carpenter film. Kurt Russell's awesome. This movie, I remember kind of like being on it when I first saw it because I didn't grow up with it, but Erica has forced me to watch it over and over again, and Jack Burton has become a favorite character of mine. So Big Trouble in Little China rules. Blumhouse, Black Christmas. I didn't watch this last Christmas. I don't think I even watched the Christmas before. I can't remember how many years it's been since it come out. I remember thinking it was okay, and I got it really cheap. So this Christmas we'll be giving this another spin. Oh, Blackout. Talked about this a bunch of times. Check this out from Dark Sky Films. Great werewolf film. I've talked about that a lot on the channel. Black Swan. I just watched this a couple of weeks ago. Darren Aronofsky movie I had never seen. I loved it. Also kind of left a little scarred and a little confused, which is, I think, 100% the purpose behind this movie. So I think that I was the target audience, and I can't wait to check it out again. Very haunting stuff here. I think it's one of those Darren Aronofsky movies. They always have a tendency to stick with me. The Whale, Pie, oh my god, Requiem for a Dream. They always tend to linger, but Black Swan really stuck around for me for a couple days. Blade Trilogy. Yeah, I enjoy all three of these. I think Trinity is fine. We just watched 2 the other night. The effects didn't age well, but Guillermo del Toro rules. The first one is still the best, though. Yeah, great. I'm going to leave that alone. Maybe we'll get more Wesley Snipes Blade in the future. Chuck Russell's The Blob remake. This movie rules. I don't really know what else to say. Some of my favorite practical effects out of the 80s. I love this artwork from David Levine. Great release from Scream Factory. Blood Rain from Massacre Video. I picked this up strictly out of nostalgia for this movie because I had this on DVD way back in the day. But it wasn't very good. But it's still, I don't know, it works well enough for me, right? Like, I'm okay with it. Uwe Boll is a mixed bag director, that's for sure. And he has, and him on the internet and other people other people about him have crazy mixed opinions. It's just really funny. He follows me on Instagram, so that's a little weird. From Full Moon, Blue Rita, I started picking up these Jess Franco films. Just kind of afraid that these are the only releases we're going to get. These releases aren't very good. And the movies particularly aren't great, but Jess Franco is such an interesting filmmaker to me. And I love how risky some of his movies get. So Blue Rita is one of those. Bone Tomahawk. This is from S. Craig Zahler. Loved Dragged Across the Concrete. Loved Brawl on Cell Block 99. Loved Bone Tomahawk. This movie is brutal. Outside of The Proposition, one of my favorite modern day westerns. So great addition. It goes into horror one because it's pretty terrifying. Some more Scream Factory. The Brides of Dracula. This is one that Erica showed me. Some great gothic imagery in here. Not my favorite of the era, and not my favorite of the the Hammer releases from Scream Factory, but still a very good watch. And rounding out shelf one, Bubba Hotep. I haven't seen this in, when did this come out? 2003, in about 18 years, and I still have yet to watch this 4K, so I need to get on it. I'm actually going to watch this tomorrow. Let me, each time you see a cut, I'm going to grab another shelf, so let me get on that. Alright, moving right along. Candyman from Nia DaCosta. This is the sequel? Requel? Something like that. I just talked about this on Instagram not too long ago. I love this movie. Love this movie. I thought this was such a good follow-up. Visually, story-wise, I thought it was very proper. I think the horror was actually scary. Funny how Candyman and its social story, the way that it addresses the social issues, still holds up so strong. It's also very sad that it's still as relevant as it is today. But Nia DaCosta directed the hell out of this. Unfortunately, she got caught into the Marvel stuff, but what can we do? I have cat hair on my face. Carrie, this is the remake with this cool lenticular. I don't like this movie. I only keep it because I have the original Carrie and my OCD is crazy. I think the CGI at the prom scene kind of ruins it all for me. I don't really... I don't think we need to tell the story of the original again. I think, Brian De Palma's original is perfect. So I'm not going to say it's unnecessary because I get why we have it. It just doesn't add anything, nor does it improve on anything. So, The Case of the Bloody Iris. This is coming from Celluloid Dreams, fantastic 4K. This one was talked about a lot. Great newcomer into the boutique space. But awesome Italian giallo. Looks fantastic in 4K. Check this one out if you can. I hope I was showing you the Italian cover. So, Child's Play on 4K, the original from Tom Holland. I picked this up because I bought the Arrow set where the first movie is not in 4K, and I was able to get this really cheap. But yeah, great 4K. Still a great movie. Child's Play 2 is still my favorite though. Followed up by Child's Play. And then there's the other Child's Play remake. It was good. I didn't mind it. I love Aubrey Plaza, so I'm happy to see her. I think it's kind of messed up what Orion did by just going and making this one and not keeping what's his name? Oh my god, it's so late. Don Mancini involved at all. But it's fine. It's okay. Every single time I watch it, I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. So, some Joe Begos, Christmas Bloody Christmas. I loved this movie the first time I saw it. Watched it a second time, loved it again, and then I watched it this past Christmas, and I loved it even more. I think this was shot on 70 millimeter. I think looks absolutely incredible. I think it does get a little crazy. I think the dialogue is a little too Rob Zombie for me, but great gore, good scares, great visual. This has become a Christmas favorite of mine. RLGJE putting that out. Alright, speaking of Don Mancini, Chucky Season 1 and Season 2. I still need to get Season 3. Very sad over the cancellation, but I'm sure that's not the end of the Chuck, right? Because you don't fuck with the Chuck, but we do fuck with Cobweb. This was such a sleeper hit. This came out last year, I think. Awesome autumn vibes here. Great backyard pumpkin stuff. Good chill, like wind open breeze vibes going on here. Anthony Starr plays the father, and just like Homelander, he sucks. He's a great performer. Character just sucks. But good scares, good twist at the end that I like a lot. This one holds up really well. Cobweb. If you haven't checked that out yet, please do. The Collection. So this is number 2. The first movie is The Collector. That'll come up later. Don't like this one nearly as much as the first. They got some more money. And we got some more traps, some more CGI. I still like this, and I am rooting for The Collected, which is the upcoming third movie in the trilogy, finally, 12 years later after the release of this one. We'll see. I don't love this one as much. Maybe I'll come around to it, though, as time goes on. The Craft. Just watched this the other night. I remember all the debacle with this 4K. It was crazy. I still like this movie. I never really loved it. I think it just kind of... I don't connect with it as much, but still like it enough to keep it in the collection. 4 seasons of Greg Nicotero's Creepshow. We have season 1. Whoa, let me do it this way. Season 2. Season 3. And season 4. I love the show. I'm so happy that The Creep is still relevant and Greg Nicotero is still doing these. Not every episode is a home run, but at least there's some solids, singles and doubles, the occasional triple, and once in a while you get a home run in there. But the aesthetic is great. Love the effects. Love a lot about it. So, Crimes of the Future. I like David Cronenberg a lot. Did not in any way find anything enjoyable in this. I know that this attracts a certain crowd, but I feel like you either love it or you hate it. I don't hate it. I didn't connect with it, therefore I didn't really find much to enjoy about it, but I'm going to be giving it another run soon. I know that's going to be controversial, but it is what it is. Scream Team, again, Cryptids. This was the other one with Backwards that I picked up at the table. This was the newest one at the time. This stars Joe Bob Briggs as a radio host, and I think this is an anthology. And what really kind of attracted me to this are all the cool practical monsters that are on this. So, but I need to check that out. Maybe I'll do a double feature with Backwards on that. Kino Lorber, Cujo. I got this for $9 like a couple weeks after it came out due to that Amazon error. But yeah, this movie scares the hell out of me. And I have a big dog. But that one gets me. Gore Verbinski, A Cure for Wellness. I love this movie. A lot of people have a lot to say about the third act and the sudden twist in style. I don't. There's a great, very early Mia Goth performance here. And while the twist that's in this, I think, is highly predictable, this movie has a fantastic visual style that just carries itself all the way through. It has some pretty gross moments, and I just dig this movie a whole lot. So, very happy to have A Cure for Wellness. Wes Craven, Cursed, a ton of fun. Not talked about enough. Not perfect, but such a time capsule of this era, and the behind the scenes kind of production stories of this are a nightmare. But super happy that Scream Factory put out a great release of this. This is a 4K scan from the original negative. It looks fantastic. So, and it got people talking about the movie again, which I think is the most important part. The Cursed, I talked about this in my movies I want you to watch in September video about a month ago. Great little kind of like underseen werewolf movie. Very, very, very violent, very brutal. Worth a watch for sure. I definitely think people should still check this out. The Dark and the Wicked. This comes to us from Brian Bertino, who I think most famously did The Strangers. And I've heard some dark, and I've heard some wicked things about this, but I have yet to see it. But it's on my list for October, so this month I will be checking it out. Dawn of the Dead, Zack Snyder's. I have yet to upgrade this to 4K yet. I just don't. I've heard some amazing reviews that talk about how good it looks. It hasn't come to a price yet that I'm willing to pull the trigger on, but yeah, I do not like this more than the original Dawn of the Dead, but I think it is a very good upgrade and one that I watched a lot in my early teenage years. So Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, George Romero's. I think this is the Romero-Savini masterpiece, most specifically the Savini masterpiece. I see a ton of people campaigning for this to come to 4K, and from what I understand, the original negatives are destroyed and in terrible condition, so it's probably, I don't want to say never, it's probably not going to happen, but I would like a little bit more of a deluxe treatment of this, but I don't really see the point. This has a brand new documentary on it, commentary, everything I could possibly ask for is on this, and it looks great, so no need for that. Back again with another shelf, The Dead Zone. Good David Cronenberg movie, not one of my favorites, but I think as good an adaptation of the book as you can get. Great Christopher Walken performance there. Good, very good Scream Factory release. Dead Girl 15th Anniversary Edition from, who did this? Unearthed? Yeah, Unearthed. I just got this not too long ago from the MVD sale, so still need to give this a rewatch sometime soon. Dr. Sleep. I talked about this in my Reddit hot takes video that I did. I like this better than The Shining. And I love The Shining. The director's cut. I've never seen the theatrical one. Mike Flanagan out here doing great things. Don't Breathe, 1 and 2. A ton of talk about Fede Alvarez this year with Alien Romulus. I really like Don't Breathe, and I like Don't Breathe 2. I think it's a little weird the direction it went in, making our antagonist the protagonist, but I think it works to a bit. I think one goes a little too far, and I think it's just missing that Fede Alvarez touch. So, but I like it a lot. I do. Well, I mean, I like it. I like the first one a lot, but I like the second one. Don't Fuck in the Woods 2. Yeah, what do you say? What do you say? It's... I don't know what to say about that one. Escape from New York. Our cat's name is Snake Plissken. So yeah, we're big fans of this. Great 4K transfer here from Scream Factory. Event Horizon. Still campaigning to see the true Paul W.S. Anderson cut. Or the Paul Anderson cut. But maybe one day. Good release from Scream Factory. Event Horizon is awesome. Sam Neill rules. And I will always say that. Always. I freaking hate this movie. Exorcist 2. Cicada POV. Focus on Technology. Exorcist 3 is the preferred. This is my least favorite Exorcist movie. Yeah. And I've seen Believer. So. Fear. Marky Mark. I just bought this a couple weeks ago. Haven't seen it yet, but I've heard incredible things. That's why I picked it up. So I got it for a pretty good price. So I need to check that out soon. Final Destination franchise 1 through 4 and 5. I love these movies, and I really wish Arrow would just do a good release of these on 4K. None of them are out on 4K. So these need good upgrades sometime soon. Especially with Final Destination 6 coming. I think, next year? Supposed to be? Come on. Somebody do it. Firestarter. Yeah, I still like this movie. Martin Sheen, George C. Scott. The fire effects in this are fantastic. I love the music too. So, big fan of this one. I do remember watching this not too long ago. And definitely kind of as I get older, kind of seeing a lot more of the flaws than I did before. But the Tangerine Dream score to me is always a go-to. So, Firestarter. The First Omen. This movie's creepy as hell. We actually only got about halfway through, so we need to, and that was because I think we started really late and we were really tired. But great, great, great visuals in this one. Really reminds me of kind of like returning back to the era of scary religious horror with this. I know this was the prequel that nobody thought would do what it did. So really awesome that the Omen franchise is still continuing on such a high note. The Fog, great little ghost story, fantastic this time of year. John Carpenter for the win as always. The Forest, I picked this up. This is a Code Red release during one of the Kino sales. Haven't seen it yet, but it's on the list. Frogman from TerraVision. I grabbed this at my local Walmart. I'm saving my thoughts for a video that I have coming, but I did enjoy this one. So you'll be hearing back from me on that one soon. From Cauldron Films, The Gates of Hell, aka City of the Living Dead. Yeah, I mean, I dare say that this is one of the best zombie films ever made, and Cauldron Films did an incredible job with this transfer, a great job with this packaging and this presentation. So very, very, very good release. I picked that up at Monster Mania from the Diabolic table. Ghostbusters Afterlife. Yeah, I was not a fan of... What was it called? What was the last one called? I forget. A New Empire? Something Empire? Frozen Empire? Yeah, I didn't like that one. Afterlife, I like this a lot, though. A whole lot. I enjoyed this just as much as I enjoyed the original, too. We revisited it before Frozen Empire came and still enjoyed it just as much. Ghoulies 1 and 2, ton of fun. Great release from Umbrella. This was a birthday gift, but yeah, these movies rule. If you haven't seen them, you really should. Ghost Ship. Very, very, very on my mind lately. Scream Factory, or not Scream Factory, wow, one of the partner labels from Vinegar Syndrome just announced they're doing Fear.com, which was always a double feature rental with Ghost Ship for me. So this has been on my mind heavy lately. Ghost Ship, just rewatched it not long ago. Still good. Still good. I'm really wondering if I should just get all these off the shelf, but Halloween on 4K, and on this shelf it ends with Halloween 2 on 4K. Both look fantastic. I think the one thing that saves Halloween 2 is the return of Dean Cundey. Other than that, I do not like a lot of the choices that Rick Rosenthal made for it, but that's just me. I still enjoy Halloween 2, just nowhere near as much as Halloween, and not to the level that a lot of other people do. So they're all on the next shelf. I guess I'll grab them real quick. Halloween 3, quickly becoming one of my favorite in the entire franchise. 4K looks fantastic. You see Tom Atkins' bare ass. Halloween 4, one that I constantly kind of teeter to between two opinions on. On one end, I love it a lot. I still don't like the ending. But I think that this was a great return to form after Halloween 2. And then Halloween 5 is another one that I kind of teeter on. Hate that they just completely retcon and ignore the ending of Halloween 4. But Donald Pleasant's absolutely insane. Tina sucks. She's one of the worst lead characters in the whole entire series. But I like some of the visual stuff here. So Halloween 5 kind of gets some nods. Curse, Halloween 6, not a fan of this one very much. I did watch the producer's cut for the first time. Still not a big fan of it. I think it's good. This era, the Dimension era, which I think started with Halloween 6, right? No, it was still Miramax. This era, I didn't love. And going into H2O, that started with right? That was the Dimension era. I think so. Halloween H2O, also not a fan of this one. Jamie Lee Curtis, it's nice to have her back, but I think that having her back pays off better in Halloween 2018. And then this garbage, Rick Rosenthal, triumphant return to the franchise. David Gordon Green, Hollow Green, according to the Halloweenies. This is the best Halloween sequel I said what I said. Said what I said. Halloween Kills. There's a lot of stuff about this movie I like less with each viewing, but there's still a lot of stuff I enjoy. This movie is pure carnage. Great John Carpenter pull quote when he said that Halloween Kills was basically like the slasher of all slasher movies. Yeah, this movie never quits, and that it kind of does that at its own detriment and positive. I don't know what the opposite counter word for detriment would have been, but yeah. And Halloween Ends. This didn't hold up for me as well, second and third viewing, but still I think an interesting piece in the Halloween lore. This is like the Halloween 3 of the era for me. I think that people are going to come back and kind of revisit this. And we can really see on the screen all of the rewrites happening during the pandemic and them really trying to figure this out. And I think they did a lot right, but I also think they sacrificed a lot in order to do that. And whether or not to you that pays off, if you enjoy it, that's all that counts. So, Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters. I haven't seen this in, God, when did this come out? 2013, so it's been about 10 years. I remember it being a ton of fun. I picked this up at a Goodwill not too long ago, so hoping to give it a rewatch soon, see if it holds up as well. Happy Birthday to Me. This is a very brutal slasher that I will always watch on my birthday. I think it's under-discussed how vicious this movie is, but great release from Kino Lorber. Haunt. I've talked about this a bunch on the channel. I love this movie. One of my favorites, and consistently, we've already watched it once this year, and we will watch it again. Hell Night. This is with Linda Blair. Yeah, very good haunted house movie. Some good scares in here. Some good practical effects. Not the most memorable to me. I tend to, every single time I put on Hell Night, only remember very, very, very little bit of it. But I still enjoy revisiting this one. So time and time again. Hereditary. Yeah, I kind of just fall in line with this one. I do think it's kind of a modern masterpiece. I will say that this has kind of been a little bit of a detriment to the community, where this kind of kicked off the whole thing of like grief horror, and I'm not the biggest fan of that because not everybody can do it in the way that Ari Aster did with this, and therefore I think you have a lot of movies trying to lean on grief to add an extra element to their filmmaking. It's kind of like what happened after Get Out, where everyone was like, oh, we can make socio-political horror, and it just never really panned out the same way. But yeah, I dig Hereditary. I like it a lot. Jason Eisner, Hobo with a Shotgun. When I was younger and I watched this, it was much, much better than it was, but it's still a great piece of like kind of grindcore exploitation trash. It's just funny when modern day movies try to do it, but they have like this gloss and sheen. It just doesn't work the same way when you try to mimic what was organic from one point in time. So Hobo with a Shotgun, still a good watch though. Still a lot of fun. Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares. This is from the Screenbox release. The documentary on Robert Englund. Very good documentary, worth a watch. It's long. I remember. 126 minutes. Remember that being a little exhausting. House of Wax. I'm curious to see in like 20 more years what from this era gets reevaluated and what we continue to kind of be like, man, that was actually pretty good, because I never thought House of Wax was bad, and then all these people are like, oh, we thought it was bad, now we're watching it, we kind of like it, and I was like, wait, we thought this was bad at one point? This movie kind of rules. Like, Paris Hilton all over the marketing. See Paris Hilton die. Peak marketing right there. Same with House on Haunted Hill. People don't like this movie? That's crazy. This movie rules. Hard. So hard. Incredible Hulk at the beginning. Yeah, it's awesome. The House on Sorority Row. This one, I think the remake does a lot better. It's a lot more effective to me. The House on Sorority Row, I remember being a little slow for my liking. But some really good stuff in here. Some stuff that I enjoy. Definitely happy to have it, and worth, having in your collection, especially if you're a horror fan. The Howling, I'm an American Werewolf in London defender all day. I think The Howling is okay. The transformation is nowhere near as cool. We can chat about that in the comments. Hunter x Hunter. This was a great discovery. My brother-in-law told me about this when it first came out. I heard a ton of great stuff out of IFC with this. Scream Factory put out the Blu-ray. This, no matter how well informed you are going into this, you don't see the twist coming, and the ending is fucking brutal. So Hunter x Hunter, I give recommendation all day long. And to round out this shelf, immaculate. Sydney Sweeney rules. I loved her in Euphoria, so I never had any doubt on her career. But was really, really, really surprised how much I enjoyed this. There is a 4K, US 4K coming out. I'm not going to upgrade. This Blu-ray looks incredible. I don't really see how it can look better. This movie's also incredibly lean. How long is this? It's like 89 minutes. Yeah, literally 89 minutes. So, I want to check this out with the commentary sometime soon, so my next watch will be that. But immaculate rules. Don't let the Sydney Sweeney of it all push off you watching this, because it's a good time. Infinity Pool. This is Jesus Christ, Brandon Cronenberg. It's getting to that time in this video. Yeah, I liked Infinity Pool a lot. Not as much as Possessor, but holy hell, is this family gifted. I did not see... David Cronenberg has a daughter whose movie just came out, and it wasn't getting the highest of praise. I haven't seen it yet. But I think Infinity Pool, this movie is wacky, wild, crazy. Great Mia Goth performance. Awesome Alexander Skarsgård performance. So some good stuff in here. I did end up enjoying it a lot. The Invisible Man. Lee Winnell has his Wolfman coming out in January. So I'm excited to see what he does. I do like this a whole lot. The Elizabeth Moss of it all, to me, was very surprising because I'm not the biggest fan of her. But she does a really good job in this. I love the focus on the victim. Absolutely love that, and I think that plays really heavy into this when you have an antagonist who is invisible, and we don't know if the scares are in her mind or if he's actually genuinely torturing her until we have the explosive moment in the diner where the proof kind of comes to fruition. But I think this was a very smart retelling of the story. Possibly the best possible retelling we could have ever gotten. So, It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 from Andy Muschietti. I love both of these movies. I also love the Benjamin Wallfisch score very much. So, those I am big fans of. It's going to go like this, I think. Kill Her Goats. Yeah. I made a video way back when I first started the channel about how I didn't hate this movie. I also don't love this movie. We'll see if it ever gets a second watch. King Kong from Scream Factory. This is the 76. Yeah, and I ended up watching for some reason I thought it was a good idea to watch the 182-minute television cut of this before watching the 134-minute theatrical cut. And, look, I liked it, okay? Jessica Lange, Jeff Bridges, it was fun. I think the original King Kong and Peter Jackson's '05 King Kong are better than this, but it's okay. It is what it is. I still enjoyed it. Sorry, there's like endless stuff getting in my eye, and it's bothering me the heck out of me, and I don't want to press pause. Krampus, Mike Dougherty. This was his follow-up from Trick or Treat. I have a lot of fun with this. A whole lot of fun. The naughty cut was such a bullshit, like, selling thing for, like, 2 seconds of extra violence that adds nothing to the movie. If you blink, you will miss the naughty cut additions. But whatever, it's on 4K, and it looks good. It needed an upgrade. Last Night in Soho, still the only Edgar Wright movie we've never seen. I don't want to watch this without Erica, and we just haven't found the time to throw this on yet. But I do want to sometime soon. I've heard everything from great to least best Edgar Wright movie. So we'll see. Last Voyage of the Demeter. Yeah, Demeter. I did enjoy this. I love the style here. What was his name that made this? Andre Overdahl. He made Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. The guy has a great sense of visual style and really good at building atmosphere. I remember this being, I think, a little too dragged out for me. Maybe it didn't hold my attention long enough, but it could have been a bad night that I watched it. So I need to give this another shot. But great concept, being based on I think it's the prologue of Dracula. It's a single chapter of Dracula. So need to give that one another watch sometime soon. Leprechaun complete movie collection. Yeah, I enjoy those. They're fun. I'm Irish, if you can't tell, so those are like in my blood, in my DNA, as you could say. Matt Reeves, Let Me In. Not better than Let the Right One In, but I think it holds its own. I think that there's a tremendous sense of style built here. Senseless remake, sort of, meaning like does it take the original and add something more to it, or something unique enough to justify retelling the story? Not really, but still I think they do a really good job with it. It's still very effective, still violent. And I'm happy it exists for people who unfortunately don't like to read subtitle movies. You're ruining your chances of ever watching great cinema if you're limiting yourself to only watching movies in your native language understood. Life Force, Tobe Hooper. I love this movie. I think this 4K looks incredible. I wish the director's cut was on the 4K, but is what it is. I just don't. How much time is there difference? So there's 15 minutes extra in the director's cuts, and I don't know if it was rights or whatever issue, but I prefer the director's cut over the theatrical, so I always end up just throwing on the Blu-ray, which I didn't have before this, but Life Force is great. Absolutely great. Linnea Quigley's Horror Workout from TerrorVision. This is crazy this even exists. Love that alternate slip, though. Kind of happy I missed out on the original slip and got that one. I like that one better. Living with Chucky. This is a good documentary. I don't think it's like the best. Like, I don't think this is the definitive documentary. It's a lot more focused on this girl's relationship of kind of like growing up surrounded by Chucky and growing up in the circle because of her father. But good nonetheless, and a lot of good interviews in here. So happy to have it in the collection, and especially if you are a Child's Play fan, I think it's worth having. Long Legs is home. Lords of Chaos. Yeah, I love this movie. Out of my entire collection, I think this is the hardest movie for me to rewatch. There's a lot of brutal stuff here that the movie does not hold back from putting on full presentation. This is a great release from Unobstructed View and Gunpowder and Sky. So that's Lords of Chaos. Malevolence 1, 2, and 3. I just talked about these. Like the first one a lot. Not a big fan of the second. Haven't seen the third yet. But I will. Don't worry. I will. Remember the order of these. Malignant. Yeah. Let's give James Wan more money to make original stuff. That's all I have to say. Great success. Mama. So I picked this up recently. We were at a resale shop. I picked this up because of Andy Muschietti, and I kind of wanted to watch something before he did it, and I have yet to, but I've heard good things. So, Mandy. This is, Panos Cosmatos. I really, really, really want to love this movie. Haven't found it yet. It's just kind of okay. And, yeah. I don't want to say like definitively how I think, because it's been a long time since I've seen it, but yeah. And for this shelf, Megan. I picked this up because with Megan 2.0 around the corner and this sort of like AI based kind of connected franchise that that Blumhouse is gonna do. I wanted to give this another shot. I bought this on Amazon. It was on sale for like $12, and somehow it still came with a slip. So need to give it a watch though. I've heard the unrated edition, the extra violence that is added, does kind of amplify with the movie a little bit. But that's how you do an unrated edition. Krampus. From Alex Garland, Men. I picked this up at Black Friday a couple years ago. Haven't watched it yet, unfortunately. I need to get around to it. I know I've been thinking about this one a little bit recently because of Civil War, and that's kind of got Alex Garland on the brain again. So I'm sure this will be watched soon. Man, this release of The Mist makes me so happy. I think this is the best Frank Darabont adaptation of a Stephen King book. Yeah, of course, The Shawshank Redemption is great, but I love The Mist, and I'm very happy to see both the color and the black and white get the 4K treatment, plus the inclusion of all the documentaries and commentaries and stuff. This is such a great release from who put this out? Lionsgate. This is how you do it. Studios, take notes. The Monster Collection. This was a really cool find. So this is 2 documentaries in here. The first one is the Phil Tippett first we have the Frankenstein Complex. That's hosted by Stan Winston's son. And then we have Phil Tippett. I think it's Mad Gods and Monsters. If I can get this out. Mad Dreams and Monsters. 2 great practical effects and monster making documentaries. A lot of people are like, why would you collect documentaries if you're not going to rewatch them? I do revisit them. So, especially right now, I'm actually reading the special effects book by Pedro. I think his last name is Manscal. Reading this giant special effects book of his, so I will be revisiting those soon. Monster Squad, great 4K. Super happy to finally have this in a good documentary, or in a good release. This does include the Wolfman's Got Nards documentary as well. So great release from Kino. I remember that being delayed forever on Amazon. Darren Aronofsky, Mother. After I watched The Whale, I picked this up. I've never seen this, but Erica has it. She tells me it's batshit crazy, so that's going to be on the watch list as well. Rob Zombie's The Munsters. I enjoyed this. Like, this was a lot more fun than I anticipated it being. Rob Zombie doing a PG movie. I greatly enjoyed the humor. I enjoyed the actual, like, fun nature of it, which I don't think we get ever from Rob Zombie. Yeah, I kind of wish, like, we would get more. I wish they would do, like, a Monster Go Home remake that Rob Zombie can helm. I think that would be fun. My Bloody Valentine. Not a movie that I've gotten really, like, the heavy urge to update into 4K. But so happy to see that the unrated cut of this is alive and well. This is a very, very, very important release. My buddy Christian over at Planet CHH did a great video on this. So that movie rules. Some of the best practical effects and kills coming out of the 80s, hands down. The Necrophiles from Visual Vengeance. I picked this up. I did a trade-in at a local U shop, and this was one of the pickups that I got. I haven't seen it yet, though. There is a flying devil baby and some other stuff going on here that I don't understand. So, yeah, right up my alley. Gotta check that out soon. Needful Things. Stephen King. I grew up watching the television cut, which is 191 minutes. So I just haven't gotten around the time to revisit that. That's on the Blu-ray, not the 4K. So maybe I'll check out the theatrical, and then one day I'll throw that on. But this is fantastic atmosphere for this time of year. I remember really, really, really liking Needful Things when I was younger, but it definitely requires a revisit for me to cement that opinion. New Year's Evil. I enjoyed this. I didn't hate it. I thought it was very creepy. I thought it was very inventive, very cool. This will be like kind of a yearly rewatch for me on New Year's, though it's kind of become that. So maybe as time goes on, it'll just kind of grow and grow and grow in my love for seasonal horror, right? Night of the Creeps thrill me. This movie rules so hard. Impending 4K. Deserves every single bit of it. Fred Dekker is the man. Shane Black is the man as well. Nightbreed. the director's cut. I have been so tempted to grab a Cabal cut from one of like the MOD developers, people who make mods. I really like Nightbreed. I think there's a lot of good stuff in here, but this movie feels, even the director's cut feels incredibly rushed. So I'm interested to kind of see what the Cabal cut brings, and maybe if one day we'll actually get a legitimate release of the Cabal cut. But yeah, I like Nightbreed. I'm a defender of this one. Nightwish. This is from Unearthed. Really great find. Really, really gross visual effects in this one. I think the last act of this is so much more interesting than the rest of it, but a really cool little find if you've never seen it before. There's some really, really gross stuff in that movie. Nope. Yeah, I like this movie. I enjoy it a lot. I think it is third in the Jordan Peele scale. I do like Us and Get Out better, but I still enjoy Nope. I did a lot, and I know a lot of people don't like that movie. That's okay. This is another release from Cauldron. This is Phantom of Death, aka Off Balance from Ruggero Deodato. Haven't watched it yet. I do still need to. Pearl. We're talking all things X and Pearl and Maxine with the release of Maxine this coming week. Yeah, this movie's lovely. More Technicolor modern films, please. I beg of you. Train to Busan presents Peninsula. Not as good a movie as Train to Busan, but still very good. Worth having. I wonder if they're ever going to continue that. Maybe turn to a trilogy. I don't know. It's kind of hard because that's like a story in the world of Train to Busan. But from Screenbox, Pennywise, the story of it. I'm all for penultimate making ofs of movies that I love. So big fan of this. Seeing Tim Curry in that was so heartwarming. It was so good. Pet Sematary 2. This movie rules. All of the chains were taken off Mary Lambert, all of the creative control taken away, and you get Clancy Brown eating potatoes and kids' scarves getting stuck in dirt bike tires and a ton of great dreamlike fantasy stuff going on. Yeah, Pet Sematary 2 rules hard. What doesn't rule as hard is Pet Sematary Bloodlines, but I don't think this is as bad as many people made it out to be. A little bland. That's okay though. I didn't absolutely hate it. So, some Joe Dante here. Piranha. There was something about this movie that I wanted to double check. Audio commentary with Roger Corman. I've been meaning to watch that. That's been on my mind a little heavy. A fun little Jaws ripoff. The Poltergeist remake starring... What is this? Sam Rockwell. Yeah, never seen this. I bought this real cheap just to kind of have. So one day I'll give that one a shot. Portraits of Andrea Palmer. This is the definition of extreme cinema. But this movie is incredibly haunting, and if you dare can handle the content, I think worth checking out and worth talking about more. Portraits of Andrea Palmer, definitely a very controversial one in the collection, but one that I do appreciate and I do respect enough to keep around. So it's not a frequent watch, not even a sort of frequent watch, not even a I'll probably watch it anytime again soon watch, but us collectors, we kind of consider ourselves archivists, and I like having this in the collection. I'm like halfway through and I feel exhausted already. Premutos, The Fallen Angel. This is from MVD. This was another one. Oh, MVD and Unearthed. This is another one that I got during that trade I did at a local shop when I got the Necrophiles. I've heard that the effects in this are absolutely insane. I've just been waiting to find the right day to throw this on and kind of get through that. So, Prince of Darkness. Yeah, this movie rules. Great Donald Pleasance performance. I love this end of the world apocalypse John Carpenter era. Absolutely love it. Project Wolf Hunting. This movie is incredibly violent. Like, way insane, over the top violent, and I loved every minute of it. So if you're a fan of like the hyper violent kind of like martial arts trend that's kind of been going on the last 10 years, you'd be a big fan of Project Wolf Hunting. Lots of hints of horror there, but extremely, extremely violent. Just saying. Psycho, the complete 4-movie collection. I'm so sad that I missed out on that Arrow 4K Deluxe one. But Psycho 2 is awesome. I enjoy it more than the original. Doesn't mean that I think it's a better movie. I just enjoy it more. Psycho 3 is good. Psycho 4 is not bad, but that's kind of the order for me. It goes Psycho, Psycho 2, Psycho 3, Psycho 4. So, Psycho Gorman. Yeah, this was a ton of fun. I know Steven Kostanski, he's got a new movie that everyone's been chatting about, so I'm excited to see what he does with that. But it was nice to kind of find a movie that still delivered on the violence, delivered on the horror, but just kind of felt like it came from the mind of a giant kid. It kind of with adult experience, and Psycho Gorman was a lot of fun, so I'm happy that that exists. And shout out to Shudder for picking that one up. The Purge collection, the Forever Purge is my favorite. So, but need to give these a rewatch sometime soon. The entire franchise. I just remember seeing Forever Purge in theaters and really, really, really enjoying that one. Rabid. This is from the Soska sisters. I started this and I think something happened that I shut it off. It had nothing to do with the movie, but so I need to throw this one back on and finish it. Remake of the David Cronenberg film. Random Acts of Violence. I love this movie. Jay Baruchel's Baruchel from She's Out of My League comedy fame. This is one of the most brutal modern day slashers out there. I think the violence in this just hits so incredibly hard. And to me, I don't think it all works out in the end, but this is a movie that hits really, really, really hard. Lives up to the title, Random Acts of Violence. And Mia is in this from Fast and the Furious. So, good. Jordana Brewster. Rawhead Rex, Irish horror. This movie rules so hard. If you have never seen Rawhead Rex, give it a go. Give it a go. Because this is a lot of fun. It's incredibly violent. Rex looks good. There's this crazy side plot thing with a pastor in a church. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. That one I enjoy a lot. Back again with Radio Silence, Ready or Not. This is still their best movie, in my opinion. Samara Weaving rules. And there's just so much that I love about this movie. The fact that all the maids keep getting killed off. I love the plot, super creative. I think we'll be talking about some of them soon, but Radio Silence, again, needs to stick in the, I think, original area. Because we have Ready or Not, Abigail. Two of my favorites. There are other two movies that are dealing in franchises I don't love as much. And Southbound. Southbound rules too, so 3. Red Eye on 4K. Severely underrated Wes Craven movie. This movie builds tension so well, and there's a ton of just fantastic close-ups or detail shots because we're really focused on character movements and intentions in this, and the 4K really brings it out well. So really good Cillian Murphy role as well. Renfield. I remember hearing such mixed things about this, and I had a ton of fun with it. The only thing I don't like about this movie is that you have multiple awesome, incredibly violent action sequences in this, and then where limbs are getting ripped off and people are getting thrown and blood is squirting everywhere. But thanks to the CGI of it all, it doesn't, like, right when the scene's over, characters will be standing in the middle of the massacre and there's this zero trace that anything happened. A couple dead bodies, there's no blood, no violence left over, and it really bothered me, but didn't detract from how much fun I have with Renfield. Just one of those little thoughts. The Rental. I love this movie. I think that Dave Franco does a great job building tension. Doesn't work out fully. Like, do I have to kind of suspend some of that disbelief a little bit? Sure, but I still enjoyed it a lot. A tight 88-minute little thriller. Retaliators, fun rock and roll kind of low budget film. I can't tell you. I guess this is a revenge story. I think fully. But there's all kinds of like musical. Like I remember a couple people in here like Spencer from Ice Nine Kills and such. But like yeah, Papa Roach is in this. Oh my God, what is his name? The singer of Papa Roach. I'm completely blanking on his name. But yeah, like Escape the Fate cast people were in this. Tommy Lee, Five Finger Death Punch. Yeah, and it still ruled. It was still a ton of fun. I enjoyed it. Return of the Living Dead, fantastic 4K, one of my favorite movies of all time. Super happy that this has the oh my God, what is that? What is that called? What is the documentary called? More Brains. Very happy that this comes with it. Great 4K release from Scream Factory. More Screambox RoboCop. This is the creation of RoboCop. I haven't seen this yet because it's about 4.5 hours long. 301 minutes. One day. It's very, very long. Very long. Saint Maud. Rose Glass directorial premiere. She went on to do Love Lies Bleeding this past year. Yeah, this movie's awesome. Absolutely awesome. There is an incredibly good amount of visual stuff in this. There's a lot of shots that I love. I also this went in a direction I didn't expect. And for 84 minutes, I really felt kind of dragged along for the ride and into the horror. And it has such a good ending as well. Many different interpretations of it. I ended up enjoying it. I think this is a home run for sure. Scream 5 and Scream 6. I think Radio Silence brings good style to the franchise. I think Scream 5 suffers from trying too much to relate to the original, including the ending, which I'm not a fan of in this one. Scream 6 plays it a little too safe, though I do end up enjoying this one a little bit more. I think the change of location in New York City lends a big hand, and not in the way that Scream 3 does by going to Hollywood. So, but I still think Radio Silence needs to stick with original stuff. 7, 4K is coming soon. Can't wait to check that out, restored and remastered. The Shining. Still love this one a lot, even though all the Stanley Kubrick King drama. The 4K looks incredible. And last for this shelf, Silence of the Lambs. Really wish I grabbed that Arrow 4K, but is what it is. This is still a pretty good 4K. I made the decision to split this up into, I think, 3 different episodes or 3 different parts. I feel like I'm rushing through and not really giving as much input per title as I would like. So I'm going to split this up. We're going to finish out the slipcovers, which is this final stack. And then next video we'll go into my non-slipcover stuff, and then we'll go into my boutique stuff. So, so much harder than I thought it was going to be. You get to a point where like your brain is just full of information and you're trying so hard to push through. And yeah, as much as I love to talk about movies in smaller doses with more adequate input from me, is probably better. But let's round this out. Silent Hill. I know that Christoph Gans, who directed this, is doing another Silent Hill movie. He's doing, I think it's going to be based on Silent Hill 2, which I'm really excited for because the sequel to this movie sucks. What's it called? Like Revelations or Silent Hill something with an R. But this is super underrated. This movie works so well. And very happy to have a good release of it from Scream Factory. It truly, truly deserved it. There is a loose disc in Silent Night, Deadly Night that I'm going to part 2 that I'm going to fix real quick. But I don't know what else you can say besides Garbage Day when you're talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, but Garbage Day. Today is not Garbage Day. It is Sunday. Slashers, I picked this up from TerraVision not long ago. Still haven't seen it. I did have it in mind, though, for not tomorrow. I think it was like Wednesday night. I have an early night, so I was thinking about throwing this on, so I need to check that one out soon. Sleepless from Dario Argento. So this is kind of that latter half of Argento's career that people don't like. that I don't like as much, but I still like this one. It is a little on the longer side for me, but I still enjoyed it. I love seeing. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why am I forgetting her name? Jeez. What was I thinking? I lost it. Whatever I was going to say about this, I lost it. Slumber Party Massacre Remake. This was on, I think this was on Sci-Fi, and this was put out by Scream Factory. It's good. Worth checking out. Not upset to have it in the collection. Smile. Very, very, very excited for Smile 2. Believe it or not. Don't focus on that. This movie holds up so well. It does hit some tropes that I don't love, but I can kind of ignore that, and I have a lot of fun with it, so can't wait for that sequel. Smoke and Mirrors, the Tom Savini story. This was put out by Wild Eye Releasing. This didn't go as in-depth as I was hoping it would, but still a very satisfying Savini documentary that covered enough that I was very happy with. So, happy to have that in the collection. Species. Let's be real. We all watched this for Natasha Henstridge. Yeah. Just saying. Spiral from the Book of Saw. I remember when this movie got announced, and I remember reading this article that said that they wanted, like, there was a new Saw movie coming, and Chris Rock was responsible for making it happen, and he wants to star in it. And I was like, what world are we living in? And then it came out, and I was like, man, I didn't hate that, but Chris Rock just does not fit this role of like a hardened detective at all. It is cool that God, what's his name? Darren Lynn Bousman returned to direct this, but I think Saw 11 turned out to be a much better, or Saw X, I'm sorry, Saw X turned out to be a much better entry in the franchise, especially this later on. Squirm, I was very happy to meet. This is signed by Jeff Lieberman, the director. I was very happy to meet him at a convention not too long ago. This was just put out by Kino Cult, but a very, very, very nasty little movie that's 100% worth checking out. The Stand, Mick Garris. I bought this with the complete understanding that I don't know when I will ever sit down and watch this again. This is 5 hours and 59 minutes. Years later, I still own it, and I still haven't watched it all. So if anything, for the Mick Garris filmography, it earns a place on the shelf. Strangers Pray at Night, the best Strangers movie. This is my God, what is his name? The director, Johannes Roberts, who directed those shark movies. 40 Meters Down. He directed those, and it's a lot of fun. This is much more, I think, a throwback slasher. There was a ton of like love for the 80s here. Specifically, I think of what comes to mind directly is the Christine reference at the end, but the pool scene in this, so good, so good. Love this movie. I think that it held up very well. I like that they upped the pace, kind of made it a little more violent, picked it up a little bit, and it works. It works better than Strangers Chapter 1 did. So, very, very good, that sequel. Studio 666, I had a lot of fun with this. I thought the practical effects were wicked. It's really funny seeing the Foo Fighters try to act and be scared and scary. At the end, I had a lot of fun. The Lionel Richie scene is still my favorite. I'll play that clip on YouTube over and over and over again. Just a lot of fun, that one. Suspiria, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this movie's overrated? Underrated? Is it the best Argento movie? I'll keep that to myself for right now, because I do love Suspiria, but I do love a lot of other of Argento's work. But this is a beautiful release from Synapse. Absolutely incredible 4K restoration. Great bonus features. The definitive release of Suspiria. Swamp Thing on 4K from MVD Visual. I remember watching this for the first time, and obviously I knew of the Adriana Barbeau scene in this, but Return of the Swamp Thing I had equal fun with, even though I don't own it yet. I know it's a nowhere near as good, but something about Return I did love. But happy that MVD is doing this 4K line because they're doing great work with it. Talk to Me. This is what they called Yaka Yaka. Was that their name? Danny Phillip. What was their YouTube name? I forget. Such a haunting movie. There is a moment where this movie kind of flips a switch, and everything from that point on just becomes so dark and unsettling, and the movie never lets up from there. And I know they just finished wrapping on their second movie, which I thought was going to be the sequel, but turns out it's not. So maybe one day we still will. But yeah, if you hadn't seen Talk to Me yet, this is worth all of the hype it was getting at the time it came out. This is a brutal movie. Terrifier 2 from Screambox. I get that Art the Clown and Terrifier right now is sort of like the trending horror, but I'm here for it. I have the novelization of this from Tim Wagner coming this week. I can't wait to read all 400 pages of it. From the runtime to the amount of gore to the level of pure insanity in Terrifier, I'm seated, seatbelt, 5-point harnessed in for the ride. Make 500 of these, and I'll be there in the theaters. Can't wait for October 11th. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre celebrating its 50th anniversary currently. Great release from Dark Sky Films. Love this artwork. I think it's one of my favorite slipcovers in the collection. So, great work there. Great work. Texas Chainsaw 3D. Do You Think Cuz is definitely the worst part of this movie, but there's still some shining light in here from Alexander Daddario and some good kills. But consistently, Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of tends to be one of the most consistently pretty good franchises. So I still enjoy this one. Still enjoy it. Thanksgiving. Really ironic that this comes out. Does gangbusters. Everybody talks about it. Great. I loved it. A year later we get Borderlands, which happens to be the year in between Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving 2. So there's some weird Eli Roth stuff happening. But I like this a lot. Very excited for the sequel. Very excited for it. They Live, one of my favorite John Carpenter movies. Very long fight scene in this between Keith David and Rowdy Piper. So, yeah, They Live looks great in 4K. Good Scream Factory release. Very good Scream Factory release. The Town That Dreaded Sundown. A lot of style in this remake. Some changes from the original that I think work. Some that don't, but still I think a very underrated slasher movie from this era. This came out 2014. That does deliver it. It really kind of takes the original Town That Dreaded Sundown and amplifies it like a remake would, and I think it kind of works in that sense. So brutal, very fast paced, well worth a check out. The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Tusk, signed by Kevin Smith. Yeah, Justin Long turns into a walrus. It's like the perfect movie to talk about at this point in this video, this late at night. The Unborn, I picked this up from a resale shop. Have yet to rewatch it. It's directed by David Goyer. I remember having some fun with this. I'm hoping one day I'll pick it up and watch it again and have that same amount of fun with it. Lee Winnell, Upgrade. This movie's awesome. Very, 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 when I was talking earlier about violent action, very violent action, very hard hitting. This is one of those movies where you kind of feel every punch and every hit. But this is kind of Lee Winnell's. I feel like he got into the technology bit and then really perfected it with The Invisible Man. But still, I always have a lot of fun with Upgrade. Let's just do all three of these. VHS 2, VHS, whoa, jeez, 85, and VHS 94. Very good timing considering the release of VHS Beyond this week, but a very consistent, very fun anthology franchise that I'm very happy is continuing, because after Viral, I for sure thought it was over. That was pretty bad. Turns out, it's not. And I've heard good things about Beyond. Haven't watched it yet though. Violent Night. I did not like this one. I won this from Lionsgate or from Universal and Ashley Collects on Instagram. It's okay. There's some really high highs, but the problem is it like takes way too long to get to those cool bits. Just I will give it another spin this holiday. Maybe I'll find some more candy in the bag. You know, not as much coal hanging in the stocking, but we'll see how Violent Night pans out for me this year. Tim Burton's Wednesday, season 1. I picked this up for Erica. She loves it. I have yet to see it, so I'm going to be sitting down with her soon though and checking that out in preparation for season 2. When Evil Lurks from RLJE. Very, very, very brutal and devastating movie. This is a movie that gives you like zero empathy or zero mercy, just from beginning to the very end. And it's a pretty miserable experience, but one that pays off so well. This movie will stick in your brain for a long time, and I'm very happy that it did get a physical release. Same with what's his name, Damien Rugna's first movie, Terrified. Both are very, very scary. So I'm excited to see kind of what he's got coming next down the chamber, and I'm sure he's gonna be working with Shudder again. Jack Palance, Without Warning, picked this up during a Kino sale. Haven't seen it yet. Wrong Turn. Very interesting story with this one. So this was the same writer as the original Wrong Turn, and this is sort of him like course correcting nearly 20 years later after the first one. It's a much different story, but I think it works pretty well. It's a little too long for me. It's 110 minutes. So there is a point where it's kind of like, okay, like, can we get this moving forward? But I still enjoyed it a lot, and I had a good amount of fun with it. So, Wrong Turn. Just a very interesting backstory compared to the original. Because I like that original Wrong Turn a lot. A lot of nostalgia for that one. Ty West X, one of my favorite movies of the last 10 years. This movie rules so hard. I'm currently reading the adaptation that Tim Wagner did in kind of collaboration with A24. So excited to give this trilogy a spin once I get Maxine in this week. And last but not least for this video, You're Next. I did not upgrade this to 4K. I didn't feel a need to, but contrary to I feel like most people's beliefs in the YouTube community, I like You're Next a lot. I do see some of the cringe moments when Ty West appears and is this director, and you have the whole movie or the whole commercial bit. And I get that's very cheesy and very corny, but there is some wicked stuff in this movie. It is predictable, but I still have a lot of fun with it, and I always enjoy myself when I throw on You're Next. This is that Thanksgiving era kind of movie for me. That time, November is when I'll pull this one out and give it another spin. And there is our pausing point. I'll have part 2 of this up very quickly, and then part 3 to follow. This is just it's very late. There's a lot of movies to talk about, and I just want to do a good job at talking about them. I don't want to just breeze through. I'm not interested in just showing you what I have. I want to talk about them where I have input to give and not feel like rushed or I'm taking too long. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you come back for part 2 and part 3. And yeah, I'll see you guys when those come out. Later.